Hey everyone. You know, I was just checking my Facebook right now and I came across this article by Movie Pilot, on Movie Pilot, which I'm a part of at BW Roses. And this is an article published by Tom Cox uh, yesterday morning. And you see the title down below. You see the title, we'll basically see what this is about, the title about it down below. And I'm sure Pat, the NES Punk, and Ian at the CU podcast will probably talk about this. I know Rich, a Review Tech USA, might talk about this. But here's what's interesting. You see this in my hand? Yes, this is Zootopia, but this is an HD cam version with English language. Basically, somebody at a theater in Mexico or somewhere where they obviously were showing the movie. The only thing that changed about it was the words. The words were in Spanish. Even on the background for the show, in the movies, everything was basically not the language itself, but basically all the words were in Spanish. So anyway, it's watchable except towards the end, and I think some parts. I haven't watched it all yet. I'm still wanting to hopefully see it in theaters. But that brings me to the topic here. See, according to this article at Movie Pilot, which I'll provide the link down below, there is something going on. There's something being planned, and there's something being planned out and proposed by Sean Parker of Facebook and Napster, and you might know better as the person that Justin Timberlake portrayed in the Social Network movie. Now, according to this article, and I quote, this is by Tom Cox, this is this article, and I quote, this is how he starts it off. He said, "Would you like to watch Batman v Superman on its cinema release date in the comfort of your own home?" Well, of course, I think any of us would, right? But here's the reason he asked that question. He says, plans proposed by tech king Sean Parker to get Hollywood to allow movies to be screened in homes may make viewing this kind of movie at home possible, sources told Variety. Continuing, Parker of Facebook and Napster, and immortalized by Justin Timberlake in the Social Network, backs startup The Screening Room. In theory, this could potentially bring the likes of Captain America Civil War, battling, screaming, into your living room. But the service is not available yet, and they're not sure when it might be. Now, here's where things kind of get complicated. Things will kind of have like a split down the middle of those in favor and those not in favor. Continuing on, and I quote, The screening room comes at a price of $150 for the box. Let me reread that. It says, the screening room comes at a price of $150 for the box that transmits the movie. Hear that? The screening room comes at a price. $150 for the box that transmits the movie, necessary to prevent the movie being pirated, and then $50 per view. Once a view has been purchased, you'd have 48 hours to watch it. Very similar to how when you rent a movie or purchase a movie, or when you rent a movie on demand, like with Comcast or with Comcast, Xfinity, Cablevision, AT&T, DirecTV, whatever, you have about 24 hours to view it, right? 24, 48 hours. That'd be the same thing here. It says, now continuing on, and I quote, $50 may sound a lot, but when the average movie ticket in the US is $8.52, as it was according to THR in July last year, that's probably matinee price, you only need to split the fee with 4.8 friends to make each home viewing equal the cost of a normal ticket. Continuing on, and I quote, when the idea was proposed 5 years ago, it was shouted down by cinemas. It would be shut down, but shouted down by cinemas, worried the plan would lure people away. Theater attendance has been flatlining the past few years, though gross domestic box office surpassed $11 billion for the first time ever in 2015 and could surpass it again. Continuing on, and I quote, this time they're working to keep everyone sweet. On the $50 viewing price, $20 would go to exhibitioners, $10 would go to distributors, and only $5 would go into the pockets of the screening room. The price would also include 2 free tickets to see the movie in a cinema to minimize the backlash from theaters about the plan. Let me reread that. The price would also include 2 free tickets to see the movie in a cinema to minimize the backlash from theaters about the plan. The idea being that people would still give money to cinemas through buying treats like popcorn, nachos, and sweets. Continuing on, and I quote, Variety claims the company is, quote unquote, close to finalizing a deal with AMC. AMC Theaters, that is. And that talks with Universal, Fox, and Sony are in, quote unquote, initial stages. However, Disney may spark a studio civil war as they haven't shown any signs of interest so far. Continuing on. Unless you own some kind of home cinema, this won't be the best way to see a film. You wouldn't be able to see the full detail on Spider-Man's new suit on a laptop screen or even a massive television. The sound quality loss of cinematic fight scenes on small speakers would be equivalent to hearing it underwater. Continuing on, when Variety asked 4,000 Twitterers, I guess that's how you spell it, quote, would you pay $50 to rent a new movie like Batman v Superman? 3/4 replied negatively. Here are some of the responses. At Variety by, well, these are just responses. I don't know which one this is. But at one reply was, if I were a family with 2 kids and we invited their friends over for a new release, yep, talk about saving money and headaches, #potty breaks. And that was by Dwayne D. And that was by at Dwayne D. Another one by Jaden West, I believe, says they'd rather wait for DVD release than pay $50. And that's at West, and that's at West under dash Jaden. At the M band, he says in reply, not for just me, but if I got a few friends together and we split the money, then of course, LOL, laughing out loud. At Troy Ball, he replies, at $50, I better get a Blu-ray with it when it releases. At Laura Keith, yes, that's how much I end up spending after going out to the movies anyway. And at Bam F927, most people would say no because they would pirate it. He concludes, families have the most to gain from this prospect. Slash Films points out that large broods can cost up to $75 on tickets alone. Those looking after handicap relations would probably prefer to see the movies from home, but without Disney, families are unlikely to cough up the $150 box cost. And he basically ends, would you pay $50 to watch new movies at home? Now, I know it took about 11 and a half minutes to read that. But let me give you my thoughts on it. Now, I could see legitimately where they're coming from because it would definitely prevent things like this from showing up at places like Kick-Ass or anywhere on the internet. And by cutting down on that, you have less chance of doing so. You have less chance of people pirating it, I should say. But here's where I think they kind of get a little confused. You see, there are those out there that have what I have called DVD recorders. Some might even have Blu-ray recorders. Some might even have those digital video recorders that sometimes they use to record the video game captures to put on YouTube. So, as well as DVR something instead of using an actual DVR. So there are those three situations or scenarios they got to three scenarios they got to look into if they make this happen. Now, if they do make it a reality, if AMC is the first to do this, and then you could probably have Regal following suit maybe, and some other cinema chains out there, big or small, then yeah, I do believe it could do exactly what one option when he closed out this article by asking that question, then yes, I do believe it would revolutionize cinema. Now, what's interesting about it is when he posted this article onto Facebook, he posted it in a way that kind of talked about how it could be a threat to something like Netflix and Redbox and all them. And it could be a threat. It could be. And here's why it would be a threat, and here's why maybe someone like Netflix, Redbox, VDU, Amazon, and Hulu may not be in favor of it. Because even though it'd be more expensive, if you will, even though it'd be more expensive, if you will, to watch that movie. He said even though it'd be more expensive to watch the movie, um, to watch a new theatrical movie at home, what I'm trying to say here, because I'm trying to refine the article on Facebook. Uh, the reason why Netflix and all of them would be against it is because even though it would cost $50 or so to watch the movie at home, you're basically taking away any revenue they have. But even though they would be against it, I don't think they wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't think any of these streaming services would have a problem because, one, you're basically doing what you're doing with on demand. You're basically renting a movie for 48 hours. You know, I rented The Prophet, basically the animated film The Prophet, on my Amazon Prime account for 48 hours. That's basically what they're saying. That's basically what they're saying. And here's where the positive for something like Amazon Prime, Netflix, VDU, Hulu, and all of them come into play. Once the movie's taken off, once you're done watching the movie, it's taken off. Okay, it's taken off, and it may be taken off the box. You see, we don't know all the details just yet. We don't know if the movie will remain on the box, how long the movie will remain as a part of the box. Like, you know, is it just going to be for the opening weekend, or for that opening week? Is it just going to, you know, is it going to be for a month? We don't know. So I don't think places like Netflix, Amazon, and all of them have anything to worry about. I really don't. Like I said, I don't think Netflix or them have anything to worry about whatsoever. Like I said, I don't really think it. I don't think they have anything to worry about. I mean, the article that you click on moviepilot.com's Facebook page, the title for it is "Studios Considering Revolutionary Distributing Plan." Studios considering revolutionary distributing plan or distribution plan to beat Netflix. Yeah, that's the article that I clicked on moviepilot.com's Facebook page to look at this article that I'm talking about right now to you. And that is, again, studios considering revolutionary distribution plan to beat Netflix. Now, again, a lot of people kind of split down the middle about it because of the fact that it's a good idea and in a sense might be more cost efficient if you look at it that way. But again, here's the problem though. You're paying $150 for a box. $150. When a lot of these companies out there, are basically like Apple, Amazon, Rootgo, all of them are basically selling you boxes with digital stream that are more capable of digital streaming for less than what you'd be paying for this. It's true. I mean, I've got some of my stuff like my TV, my Kindle, and all that. both of them were under $150. And then on top of that, let's say you get the box and then you decide, okay, you hook it up and everything, and you got the service going. Now you want to rent your first movie. In one day or week or so, you can end up spending $200 just because you want to see a movie like Civil War, Suicide Squad, Dawn of Justice, Doctor Strange, Out of the Shadows, Ninja Turtles, if you will, just because you want to see it in the comfort of your own home. Now, that's what's kind of up for debate, because it's like, yeah, it sounds great, but then again, we'd be spending a lot more than we would going out, getting gas, going to the theater or the drive-in, if you will, buying the ticket, maybe getting some snacks. I mean, when you think about it, that $200 you could end up spending in one day just for the box and then to get you a taste of what you're going to get. You spend less going to a theater. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of like are not in favor of it just right now. They're not in favor of it right now because of that price range. Now, if they were to drop it down and say, okay, here's $100 and then you just pay $50 for the movie, then fine. That's perfect. That's okay. That's good. No big deal. Because initially, sometimes people will spend that much in a day just at the theater, not just at the theaters, but eating, probably going out and shopping a little bit, and then going to the theater. They will spend that money. They will spend that income. But again, I think, like I said, that's where things are kind of debated, kind of like split down the middle. Some like the idea, obviously, because, hey, imagine sitting at home like this. You turn it over to your TV, you have your box right there. You're going through the listings. Let's see. Oh, let's see what we got here. Oh, there's Independence Day A2. Oh, there's Independence Day Resurgence. Click. And you just watch it there. And I get the idea that you could watch it at any time at your convenience. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Yesterday, I was hoping to go see Zootopia in the theaters. Unfortunately, the Start Bus schedule is kind of contradicting with the with the bus schedule that Google Maps would give. So it kind of threw me off. It's like, do I really want to leave at 9 o'clock to see a 1 o'clock movie? It's kind of conflicting. But I get why people would want to do that. I mean, think about it. Right now, if I wanted to, I could be like, I could grab my remote. Where do I put it? Oh, see, I could grab my remote. I'm not saying this would be the remote, but I can grab my remote here and be like, oh, let's see what's on. Okay, and go to, like, let's say scrolling, see what the movies are, and say, oh, there's Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Click. Or, oh, there's Doctor Strange. Click. I could do that kind of stuff. I could. And it would be worth it. It really would be worth it because, like I said, all I'd have to do is go scroll down, find my movie, click, there you go. In a sense, it'd be like the equivalent of what I'm going to do in a few weeks, and that's paying for WrestleMania. Now, I pay basically $70-something just for WrestleMania. Let's not deny that. I'm not going to deny that. I do pay that much just for WrestleMania alone because I like WrestleMania and it's WrestleMania. But the point is, it'd be just like that, and that rental though doesn't even last for 24, and buying it doesn't even last for 24 hours. It lasts initially from when it starts to when it ends. That's it. Excuse me. So again, I can see I can see how people look at the positives about it, but I know they look at the negatives, and that negative being the price. You know, and the negative being the price, and then of course you got what Tom Cox here said in his report, stating that unless you own some kind of home theater like a lot of Hollywood people do, or millionaires, billionaires do, or even $1,000 people do, they do, then this the screening room would not be the best way to see a film. It says basically because he says here you wouldn't be able to get to see the full detail of Spider-Man's new suit on a laptop screen or even a massive television. Sound quality loss of cinematic fight scenes on small speakers would be the equivalent to hearing it underwater. Excuse me. And he has a point there. He does. But I think that's why the screening room has not been, released yet. Of not, that's why I think a lot of these negotiations and deals being made and meetings being made with AMC and Regal, possibly Regal later on, and Brendan and several others later, as well as as well as the negotiations, with studios like Universal, Fox, Warner Brothers, and possibly Disney, if Disney comes on board, is to work out a way to where people can watch these movies as if they're watching it on Blu-ray or 4K Ultra Blu-ray, whatever you want to call it. Find a way to do it that way. And I think that's part of why it's being proposed right now, it's being met about, it's being talked about, negotiations are being made, so that there will be a way of distributing the movie, but distributing it as if it's already been put onto digital HD. But again, even despite all that, even despite finding a way to make it sound good on a home screen in the comfort of your own home, without losing anything, like I said, being almost similar to a digital release, um, as good as what was I going to say? Hold on, folks. Like I said, as good as that sounds and everything, there are still going to be people that are kind of not too sure about that. And then, though, you have this situation to where, we'll give them 2 free tickets. 2 free tickets? So you basically say, hey, if you buy the movie, if you rent the movie or buy it for $50 and watch it for 48 something hours, you also get 2 free tickets with it to go see it. So what's the point of us renting it when we could just go get a ticket to go online, buy a ticket for it to go see it at a theater? What's the point? But again, I can see, like I said, the positives and the negatives. And like I said, I think the reason why this is being proposed, this is being talked about, is because right now, according to the report, is that theater attendance wasn't too good until last year. Now, is theater attendance going to get better? That's all up to the pricing. I think the pricing for a ticket is what's driving people away. It's like, why do I want to spend $8 or so on a matinee, or why do I want to spend $15, $16 on a regular movie ticket when I could just go see the movie, or when I could just go on torrent or go on Google or Binge or whatever, and just wait for a decent, if not semi-decent, or sort of decent, you know, version of it to show up there, and then I could just get it like that. Why should I work? Why this? Why that? And again, what's the point? You know, what's the point of offering this when you're saying you're also going to offer free tickets? Now, I could understand maybe the reason for that is because right now, maybe some people wouldn't, really enjoy the quality of the sound. Maybe the quality of the sound wouldn't be so good, or maybe people would want to get that full detail, that full, like, okay, what does this character, really look like on the big screen? What's it really look like? Does it look better? And again, I think that's why this is something that's still being proposed. This is something that's still being proposed, it's being talked about, it's being negotiated, not just with theater chains and franchises, but with movie studios and stuff. Because I think that despite the offer of, oh, we'll give you free tickets, 2 free tickets to go see it in the cinemas, what I think they're trying to work on is making sure, like I said earlier, that it sounds more, that if this goes through, if this screening room becomes a reality, and it sounds like it's a strong possibility that it could, if it becomes a reality, then there is no doubt in my mind that it's not going to be a full reality. The box itself is not going to become a full reality, or a physical reality, I should say, until everything is worked out. And I'm talking making sure everybody gets decent sound quality, maybe on the levels of Blu-ray or 4K Ultra Blu-ray. The picture looks nice and clean, either it's on a 4K TV or 1080p TV. Basically make sure that it's decent enough so that even if people decide, okay, it was nice seeing it here at home, but let's go see it in the theaters. Let's go actually see it in the theaters to see the difference. If they want to compare it, or if they have friends or family that don't have the money to, afford to get something like this screening room box and do the whole $50 for 48 hours movie deal, they can give them the 2 free tickets and say, hey, we know you guys can't afford this kind of stuff, so here's the 2 free tickets they gave us for you guys to go see it in the theaters. Now, I can see that as a possibility. Now, again, there are there are people that are positive about it and are negative. There are some that look at it, like in those tweets I mentioned earlier, that don't like the idea because of the fact that it's too expensive. One person basically comes out and says, hey, if I'm going to pay that, you might as well give me a freaking Blu-ray player to go with it. But there are some that kind of understand this. They're like, look, we have families, and I don't, and believe me, I think like any of you watching this, I'm not one of those people, I'm not one of those people, but I'm someone that has noticed, not just with my family, but other families in the theaters, that would have to take the kids out of the theater just to go potty, or they would have to go potty, or whatever, or the kids would get hungry, they'd have to go get popcorn, or they'd have to go get sodas, or licorice, or Twizzlers, or box of candies, and it's like, it's like, it's just, I can understand that, and I can understand where families are coming from, and that's why some families, some people that obviously have families would be in favor of this, because they could just, like I say, they could just take the remote, press pause, and if some people were like, why are you pressing pause? It's like, well, I don't want to miss the movie, but I got to go take this kid to the bathroom over here, or I got to go change him, and then they come back, boom, there you go. nothing the matter. And then they can just go on pause. There you go. And I think, in a sense, that's what a lot of people would be in favor, especially the majority that have families. But there are those that do have families and don't have families that wouldn't be in the majority. Like I said, it's kind of half and half. There are those that have families, don't have families, that are okay with it, some that don't. And I think the one thing that divides them is the price cost. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, if the price cost was down to $100 maybe, or even 75 for the box, that'd be no problem. It'd be like hell yeah, be like, oh heck yeah, I wouldn't mind distributing, let's say $75 for the box and $25 for the movie. That's $100 for that week. I wouldn't mind doing that. To some people nowadays, that's chump change. Even even to some like myself that work at a place like Walmart or Target or wherever, nowadays if we manage our finances right, it's chump change. It really is. It's nothing but chump change. And again, like I said, I can understand though why some people wouldn't want to do it. Even though they may think it's a good idea and may like the idea, they don't like it because of the fact that it could give, unless there's parental controls added to this box, which I would assume there would be, it would basically give the kids free range to almost, pick up the remote, scroll down, and accidentally hit an adult title or hit an R-rated movie that's either, well, not scary, but is very sexually orientated, and it'll be like, whoa, where did this come from, kind of deal. So I could see maybe that won't be being one of the reasons, along with the pricing. But to me, I'm kind of like this. I look at this whole screening room deal, and I've always had this feeling. I think anybody has had this feeling that we were going to head down this path eventually, that this was going to be brought up, and whether or not it's because theaters are not doing so well. I think we all knew that with the direction the economy is going in right now. I think we all knew. I think we all knew that this was going to be something that was going to hope possibly become a reality real soon, because there are a lot of people that don't live in the vicinity or close proximity of a movie theater. I mean, the closest movie theater I have right now is like 15, 20 minutes away in Turlock. And that's the theater I wanted to go to yesterday, except I didn't know exactly what bus schedule to believe. So that's the closest I have right now. And there is no doubt there's a lot of us that want to get a movie theater of some kind here in Patterson, even if it's 4 or 6 cinemas. It'd be fine with us, because at least we'd have somewhere to go close by. But overall, though, like I said, I had a feeling something like this was going to happen, and there's several reasons why I believe it was going to happen. One, like I said, possibly it's the economy. Two, it is probably the downslide in theater revenue, even though that is kind of bouncing back up as of last year and in this year. But also, I think it's because of the fact that there's a lot of people that don't live in, like I say, close proximity of movie theaters. And even if they feel like in movie theaters and they don't want to drive there, after they get off work, they don't want to drive to a drive-in that might have 2 or 3, 4 screens just to see the movie. They don't want to do that. But there are also some that they might hear good reviews of a movie and they'll be like, oh, I got to go see this movie. I've heard so many good things about it. I want to see it, but I really don't want to leave, I don't really want to have to drive 15, 20 miles just to go see it in a theater or at a drive-in. You know, there and you know they and they're the kind of people that are like, I'd rather, if I could, I'd rather just watch it here at home. And there are people that are like that. And that's another reasoning why, and that's another one of those, and that's one of these 4 or 5 reasons. Like I said, the economy, theater um, attendance is down, but slowly going. Theater attendance uh, is going down a little bit, but had been down for a while, but it's slowly going back up. You know, the people not wanting to drive 20, 15, 20 miles out of the way just to go see it, as well as it's also the cost of the ticket. Like I say, matinee wise, you can go, I think the cheapest you can go is about $7, $6.50 a ticket at the cheapest for a matinee, May, if you will, but mostly around um, like it says here, $8.52. I mean, $8.52 a ticket, but the cheapest I think would be like $6.50 for a matinee showing. Um, you know, and then of course you have the regular price, which is like in the $12 to $15 range, or $12 to $16 range, I should say. So there's a lot of these factors that come into play. And there's not a lot of people that like to go into theaters sometimes because they feel there's too many germs going around. There's there's too many germs. You have to either put on a mask over your face, over your mouth, so you don't catch the germs. You have to take an airborne. You have to do this. You have to do that. So there's a lot of those factors too that would cause people not wanting to go. And then, of course, even though they would want to see the movie, they would rather see it in the comfort of their own home. And that's why you have situations like you do with this, like you had, years ago with the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie. You have things like that because people don't want to have to deal with all the things that I've mentioned. So, well, with some of the things that I just mentioned. So, I think that's why this is slowly starting to become a reality. This is something that we should have saw coming as moviegoers a long time ago, when things like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all of them started to pop up. We should have known that sooner or later this was also going to be something that even the theatrical films are going to get into. I mean, heck, nowadays you have movies that are theatrically released, but sometimes because they're just either they're an independent film or something like that, they also get digital released onto on demand. They get digital released on demand. So again, this is something that I think we should have seen coming a long time ago. Now, will it officially become a reality? That's the burning question. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think once they work out a lot of the kinks to where you can sit at home and watch the movie properly with good quality sound and good quality picture, depending on what kind of television you watch it on, and watch it on, I think that might be the deciding factor as to whether or not this becomes reality. And also the main factor being is whether or not they can get a good negotiation deal made. So a good deal made and if they can get a good negotiation and deal made with places like AMC Theaters, possibly Brendan down the line, Regal Cinemas, and all these other other theater chains out there, as well as get these initial negotiations up and going with Universal, Fox, Sony, Warner Brothers, and possibly Disney to make this a reality. And if that all comes to, and that basically, in the reality of the screening room happening, all depends on those factors. And if those factors if all those factors become passable, then I definitely see something like the screening room coming into our homes sooner than we think. But I think another thing is going to be the price. Will they increase the price from 150 to maybe 200, or will they drop it? and that's the price of the box. So will they increase it to $200, or will they drop it to $75, maybe $100? And along with it, drop the price of the movie from $50 to $25, or increase it from $50 to $75. I'm just saying. So my thoughts are, though, we should have seen this coming. And I think right now, all the factors that I've talked about, everything that I've talked about and rambled on about in this video, I think are going to play, and mostly the negotiations with the theater chains and the movie studios are going to play a huge deciding factor, as well as trying to make sure all the bugs and stuff and all the bugs and kinks are worked out on the box so that people can enjoy the movie in decent, maybe 5.1, 7.1 surround sound and HD quality, or 4K HD quality picture. So that's just my thoughts on this article. I know this has gone on for a while. I do apologize. I will provide a link down below to the article so you guys can check it out yourself. But this is really interesting. So let me know what you guys think down below. Zara Nizarak, I'd like to hear your response and a video response if you can do it. Review Tech USA, I would like to hear what you have to say. And let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll talk to y'all later.